Every game, every team, every angle. Locked On Game to Game, your team every day.
I'm officially leaving Darrell K. Royal Stadium. That was one of the worst Alabama performances I can remember in recent history. A win's a win, but I want to give a shout out to Jonathan Davis and Locked On Longhorns for saying that they were going to show up and show out. Big time credit to Texas. That was a great game, in a sense. It was a great job by Texas. I got to give them a ton of credit. Alabama played like total crap. And I'm going to tell you something. Georgia should be the #1 team in the country. There is no doubt in my mind right now. Of course, as long as they beat Samford. But I'm not sure Alabama is the top 2 team right now. And that's okay. They got room to grow. But that was a really bad performance on a big-time stage. And they've got to do better than that. They've got a lot to work on. But in the end, a win's a win. Roll Tide, everybody.
Tennessee, a big overtime win over here at Acrisure Stadium at Pitt, 34-27 in Leg 2 of the Johnny Majors Classic. Pittsburgh won at Tennessee a year ago. Tennessee returns the favor and wins on the road at Pitt. Hey, offense came out of the gate struggling, trailed 10-0, 17-7 at points and times in the first half. Defense came along from quarter 2 all the way through the overtime period. The defense won at Tennessee this football game. Cedric Tillman, 18 targets through the air from Hendon Hooker. Jalen Hyatt had a big game as well. The run game wasn't there, but Tennessee was able to overcome that and pick up, again, like I talked about, a statement win on the road and what I think Josh Heupel needed here in year number 2. So, was this game perfect? Absolutely not. Plenty to clean up, and Tennessee will need to clean that up moving forward with Akron next week. But Tennessee, a 34-27 victory overtime on the road at Pittsburgh here in Week 2. Locked On Balls will have you more next week. I am Eric Kane.
The South Carolina Gamecocks fought their tails off in this game against Arkansas, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough as the Gamecocks fall short 44-30. Hello, Gamecock Nation. This is Andrew Line, the Locked On Gamecocks podcast, giving y'all my quick reaction to today's game. Offensively, offensive line showed a lot of improvement in pass blocking. I thought that they really gave Rattler a lot of time and a ton of clean pockets against this physical Arkansas defensive front. Rattler made some good throws, but once again missed some big-time throws, especially a few deep shots to Amarian Brown that if he had connected, could have really changed the momentum on a couple drives in this game. On defense, South Carolina, they played with 100,000% effort, but it just wasn't enough to keep KJ Jefferson and Raheem Rocket Sanders from pounding the rock over and over again, leading to long, sustained drives, wearing the defense down over time. And at the end, it was just too much for the Gamecocks to overcome. So South Carolina falls to 1-1 on the season, 0-1 in conference play, and will somehow have a tougher test this next weekend as they take on the reigning defending national champs in the Georgia Bulldogs. Once again, this is Andrew Line, the Locked On Gamecocks podcast. I'll have more reaction to the Arkansas game on our show on Monday.
Ole Miss completely dominates en route to a 59-3 win over Central Arkansas. Hi, I'm Stephen Willis with the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. Jackson Dart was 10 of 15 for 182 yards and 2 touchdowns. Quinjon Judkins added 104 yards on the ground as the Rebels kind of took care of business against the Bears. Luke Altmaier got the start, but a disastrous second quarter paved the way for Dart's interest. What you saw was an improved deep ball and someone gaining control of the offense. The game was out of the hand for most of the night, but you saw an improved Rebel offense. Ole Miss now turns its attention to Georgia Tech in the first road game of the season as they start building towards a monster game on October 1st versus Kentucky. For more, check out Locked On Ole Miss, your team every day.
The Florida Gators have fallen to the Kentucky Wildcats in what was one of the worst offensive showings we've seen from the Florida Gators football team in a long time. The play calling was putrid. Anthony Richardson looks like he banged up his ankle in the first drive and had just some horrible, horrible throws. Admitted after the game that his confidence was shot after a few missed early throws, which was pretty clear. It was just a bad football game overall. Defense played well for the most part, and then towards the end of the game, it was gassed from being on the field for so much. So Florida, it's time to see how Billy Napier and Anthony Richardson bounce back from a 1-1 start after a great win over Utah and then a very ugly loss to the Kentucky Wildcats. We're going to talk about it on Locked On Gators.